Hey everyone, TimaeuSS here. Welcome to another Artery gear video. So this is the next installment of our gearing guide. We're going to talk about the gearing sets and the stats ranges for each type of gear and dive into a bit more detail into gear pairing. And then our next part in the series is the long requested fusing and casting for our gear. So I'm on my free-to-play account, and do let me know in the comment if you want to see a free-to-play series coming out from me. What I'll do is this free-to-play account actually has Alice and Ruri, so it might be a bit unfair, but I'm looking to create an account where it has no Alice, right? And maybe even no Ginga in the infinite reroll. So this would be really beneficial for you guys to look at how I would manage a free-to-play account. So going back to the gearing guide, we'll look at arterygear.info. So this is the site, and just going over some of the sets and why we ask you to farm the bosses in the order that I've talked about in the previous video. So let's just hop back right now. So if you didn't pay attention in the previous video, I'll just reiterate things again. The recommended target elimination or hunts is farm all the way to stage 5 and 6. This unlocks 5-star gear, and just put some usable 5-star gears together, which allows you to push stage 7 and 8. Okay, so you can watch my previous Centaur guides on what teams you can use. It has no Alice, no Ginga, but of course if you Alice and Ginga, farming will be a lot easier for you. So please do check them out. And once you're stably farming 7 and 8, and you can easily do that if you have a Ginga with the free attack set in the pre-reg missions, or the Queen's missions as we used to call it, you'll be able to comfortably farm 6-star gears. Okay, so 6-star gears, slot 1, 2, 3, 4 are from Centaur 7 and 8. And this is particularly important because it sets the baseline of how the 4 sets and the 2 sets interact. Because if we look at the information again, speed set, which is one of the most important sets in the entire game for players, it's a 4 slot, which means you need 4 of them to form a set and have that speed increase by 25%. What this also means that you don't really have to farm Centaur 9, because Centaur 9 is quite a significant difficulty jump from 8. By farming Centaur 7 and 8, you would get 1, 2, 3, and 4. So that's very important, okay? And then what we recommend in the video after that is after Centaur 8, you can go into Harpist. So Harpist 9 with the Roko is extremely easy. So this is where you get the slot 5 and slot 6. And for most of the players, Centaur 7 and 8 plus Harpist 9 will be the combination that you'll be farming for a very long time. Okay, because the Centaur, again, like I've talked about, gives you a 4 slot of the speed set, which increases speed by 25%. Your slot 5 and 6 is free to form any 2 slots you want, and from Harpist you either get a critical chance slot, which increases critical chance by 12%, which is good for your damage dealers who will be on 4 slot speed set and 2 slot critical chance set, or it's going to drop immunity. Immunity will be very good for your supports or your tanks, because it prevents debuffs in the beginning, and you farm a 4 slot speed set for your tanks or debuffers, for tanks and healers and supports, and then you farm the immunity for the slot 5 and 6. So you can see that by farming Centaur 7 and 8 and Harpist 9, you cover your supports and your damage dealers most of the time. I'll talk about more in depth later on with Octo and whatnot, but this covers the majority of the player population, okay? And later on, you can still work into bruiser sets by having counter set farmed in Harpist 7 and Harpist 8, and getting the slot 5 and 6 from Harpist 9 to either get critical chance set for your bruisers, or again, immunity for your bruisers. So these 2 hunts and the way they work together is extremely complementary of each other. So that's why we recommend try to get to Centaur 7, then try to get to Centaur 8, and then go to Harpist 9. Okay, so this is early to mid game. Later on, you can think about pushing as far as you can for Maiden, just for the one-time reward for the materials that you can use to upgrade the free attack set with the fuse option. And of course, that's in the next part of the video. And later on, you can also farm Octo 7 and Octo 8, which I'll have a guide coming up. But Octo 7 and 8 is important in the sense that late game crit damage set is a 4 slot, so similar to how Centaur gives the very important 4 slot. Crit damage set as a 4 slot is the most damage efficient set for most of your damage dealers. So later on, when you're looking for one-shot stats or just extremely offensive, you won't go for speed set, you'll go for crit damage set plus potentially an immunity or plus a crit chance set from Harpist 9. And of course, the Octo also drops action bar boost set, and you'll have some units that runs 3 sets, so 6 total of action bar boost set, or they can run 4, so which is 2 sets, because you don't want to farm Octo 9 because it's difficult. Those are very important, including the lifesteal set later on for units like Stylet. But again, much later, you don't have to worry about it. So the takeaway message is that your progression should look like Centaur 7, Centaur 8, farm there to get very good sets of speed going, and then go into Harpist 9 to farm slot 5 and slot 6 for a very good critical chance or immunity set. And that will pretty much allow you to build 80% or to 90% of your roster, unless you're min-maxing to the extreme, right? But for the majority, again, that doesn't apply, okay? So that is a set recommendation. So after that, we'll take a look at the gears and why some gears have different colors. Okay, so let's just take a look again. Just on my free-to-play account, you can see that some gear have different colors. One's purple, and some are green, some are blue. So that means that it shows the range, or rather the level of the substats. So let's see if we can find the range here somewhere. Here we go. Okay. So you can see the range of these stats based off of 6-star weapons. Okay. Even in the gold range, which is the best, you can still have quite a bit of difference. You can have, HP ranging from 21 to 25.2. And again, this is not 100% accurate because I have a 26% HP. We will need to update this, but right now this is what we had based off of the previous user or community feedback. But you can see that the range is quite big for flat, for percentage, for crit chance, for crit damage. So even if you go and roll a gold, it could be, for example, 21%, which is pretty close to the highest purple roll, right? So you want, obviously, to check this and see if it's a high roll based off of gold. And for main stat, what is very important to know that for speed, one of the most important stat, it's only available on the thruster. Okay, so this is why most of the time your units will be running speed on the slot 4, which is your thruster. This is another rabbit hole that I'll dig into later on, but just understand right now, speed boots, 6-star sets, always save a few copies because you're gonna run out. Okay, that's very important. So that's kind of the quick breakdown into the substat ranges and the main stat, and most importantly, what we talked about when you're farming, why we recommend Centaur into Harpist, and then later on expanding, because as you know, players that are not heavily spending, your stamina is extremely limited, so you need to be quite vigilant in how you spend your stamina. So by doing this progression slowly but surely, you'll get there. And that's how I did my progression in JP, because I wasn't really wailing like I did for global. But again, let me know if you would be interested in a free-to-play series that I may be starting this weekend or this week if I've got some time, because right now it's just AFK farming hunts for me, so I can do that. And you'll see that I'll try to go for a no Alice account, so it's even easier for you guys to see what I'm doing. But yeah, with that said, that's TimaeuSS. If you haven't subscribed, please do, and I'll see you guys in the next video.